devotional for today is entitled, The Peace and Safety Cry. Memory text is found in the book of Jeremiah 6 verse 14. They have healed also the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying, Peace, peace, when there is no peace. Jeremiah 6 verse 14. Papists, Protestants, and worldlings will see in this union a grand movement for the conversion of the world and the ushering in of the long-expected millennium. The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. 2 Peter 3 verse 10. When the reasoning of philosophy has banished the fear of God's judgments, when religious teachers are pointing forward to long ages of peace and prosperity, and the world are absorbed in their rounds of business and pleasure, planning and building, feasting and merrymaking, rejecting God's warnings and mocking his messengers, then it is that sudden destruction cometh upon them, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 3. Like the dwellers in the vale of Siddim, the people are dreaming of prosperity and peace. Escape for thy life, is the warning from the angels of God. But other voices are heard saying, Be not excited. There is no cause for alarm. The multitudes cry, Peace and safety, while heaven declares that swift destruction is about to come upon the transgressor. On the night prior to their destruction, the cities of the plain rioted in pleasure and derided the fears and warnings of the messenger of God. But those scoffers perished in the flames. That very night the door of mercy was forever closed to the wicked, careless inhabitants of Sodom. God will not always be mocked. He will not long be trifled with. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Isaiah 13 verse 9. The great mass of the world will reject God's mercy, and will be overwhelmed in swift and irretrievable ruin. But those who heed the warning shall dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and abide under the shadow of the Almighty. His truth shall be their shield and buckler. Maranatha, page 260. I shall read from the Review and Herald, February 17, 1891. It says, God destroys no man. But when a man stifles conviction, when he turns from evidence, he is sowing unbelief, and will reap as he has sown. As it was with Pharaoh, so it will be with him. When clearer light shines upon the truth, he will meet it with increased resistance, and the work of hardening the heart will go on with each rejection of the increasing light of heaven. In simplicity and truth we would speak to the impenitent in regard to the way in which men destroy their own souls. You are not to say that God is to blame, that he has made a decree against you. No, he is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to the knowledge of the truth, and to the haven of eternal bliss. No soul is ever finally deserted of God, given up to his own ways, so long as there is any hope of his salvation. God follows man with appeals and warnings and assurances of compassion, until further opportunities and privileges would be wholly in vain. The responsibility rests upon the sinner. The Review and Herald, February 17, 1891. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Isaiah 13 verse 9. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. Psalm 25 verse 9. The meek are guided by the Lord, because they are teachable, willing to be instructed. They have a sincere desire to know and to do the will of God. The Savior's promise is, "If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine." John 7 verse 17. And he declares by the Apostle James, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him." James 1 verse 5. But his promise is only to those who are willing to follow the Lord wholly. God does not force the will of any. Hence he cannot lead those who are too proud to be taught, who are bent upon having their own way. Of the double-minded man, he who seeks to follow his own will, while professing to do the will of God, it is written, "Let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord." James 1 verse 7. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 384, paragraph 2, by Ellen G. White. God bless you.